Well, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's well. My name is Laura Stranks, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Welcome to my video today. I won't have too much to talk about to start with because I want to get into it. It might take a little while. Last week's video took way longer than I thought, but I hope you had patience in watching it. This one is called a pop-up slider fun fold. I cased it from Susan Campfield. I think she's in America. I watch a lot of her videos. She's got some lovely work, and I've designed this one in my own. I've got to put my own take on this one. So this is how it works. This slides open, and this little, it's like a little table sits up in the center of it here. You can either put a greeting. The one I'm doing today, I'm going to put a flower on the top of here and no greeting, changing it up a little bit. This one here I've done for a friend for her birthday. Changed it a little bit again. It's a lot lighter and brighter. That one is out of the two-tone flora. Well, I've stamped it in the two-tone flora, and this one is out of the Irresistible Blooms DSP. The pack I'm using today is the Hello Irresistible as well, and I've stamped the today's flowers. I've stamped. That's the stamp set, and the dies are in there. I'm using this die here and the flowers and the leaves in that set today. Also in today's, I'm using the labels out of this one. The previous two, these two, I've used these three stacking labels, which are these three here in the center. Today I'm just using these two outside ones, and then I'm putting a flower in the center of that. And I'll show you that shortly. The little greeting I'm putting on the front, because I'm putting a flower on the front. I've changed the front completely. I'm using DSP today instead of the embossed cardstock. And I'm just putting "Just for You" on the front of it, so it can go for any occasion. So we'll get started. I don't think there's anything else I have to mention to start with. I'll show you as I go along a couple of different things that you might find handy to do when you're creating your cards, and I hope you enjoy it. My base, I've cut all my pieces as usual. My base is this piece here, which measures, I have done up my measurements, and I'll leave these here in front of me for a little while in case you want to take a screenshot, but they will be up on my video in the description box, so you can get them from there when the video goes up. This one here measures 11 by 4 1/4. It's 4 1/4 across, 11 inches long, and you can fold, and I've already scored that. We can burnish that. So it's scored at 5 1/2 on the long side, which gives you, it's a side fold card. This one opens this way. That's my base. Then with my mats, on these two I've done this embossed background here. This one I've changed it a little bit. I've still got a mat. So I've got my green base, and then I've got a black mat, which is that one there, which on the measurements and instructions and everything will be up on my PDF. The PDF will be up on my Facebook group, which is called Cards by Laura. Oh, I'm sorry, not Cards by Laura. Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. I'm getting ahead of myself here. My Facebook page is called Cards by Laura. So all my PDFs for all my videos go into this one here, which is Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. And today's PDF will be for the colours and design of this first card that I did. So you can adjust your colours and patterns to suit from that. But I have written the colours in. My front mat, where this one is Petal Pink, this one will be the black. And I haven't embossed that because I'm going to put, instead of this one here where it's got the DSP, the Petal Pink, and then the black again over the top, this next one, I'm putting the DSP over the top, so it'll be like that one, which is out of that Hello Irresistible paper. Beautiful paper in there, lots of lovely patterns. can't wait to get the two new colours. The Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon are two new colours that are returning that we used to have a little while ago. So it'll be nice to have the Pretty Peacock because I used to like that when it was around. But I did sell all of my stuff to do with that. So that one will go on there. Then my mechanisms. My slider overlay, which is this piece here, which is in the green. And I'll show you from here. The overlay, you can't see it from here. It's under here. So it'll go across and I'll explain it. And you must follow the way I put it together here, otherwise it won't work. So this slider, this is called my slider overlay, which on the other one is black. This one measures 5 1/4 by 2 inches. And down here I have got, on the long side, you score it at half and 4 3/4. You can do 1/2 inch there, to flip it around 180 and score another 1/2 inch there if you wish. But it is 1/2 inch and 4 3/4 if you go straight across. So that's that one. Trying to keep these in order. Then my pop-out slider mechanism, which is this other piece, wherever, oh, this one here, and I have scored this one as well. This one measures 9 3/4 by 1 1/2, and you're going to score at, which is this bottom one here, I think you can see that, on the long side at 3/4 inch, which is this one here, 5 1/4, which is that across to there. So you're just sliding it across. I'll just get my trimmer and show you exactly how to do this, just in case we've got some beginner ones here. I'll just move that out of the road. So you've got 3/4 inch, move this back down again, 3/4 inch, which is there, slide it across to 5 1/4, which is there, and score. Then you'll need to open your arm out. This one is, the next one is 7 inches, which is there, and then 7 1/2 inches, which is that one there, and 9 1/4, which is that little end one there. Gives you a little tab on that end. So that's your scoring for that. And you can fold all of these, and they all fold in the same direction. It doesn't really matter because you can fold them the other way when you get to put it together. This one I think does go back this way eventually, but we can do it both ways. This one here goes that way. Doesn't matter which way you fold them, because you can, if you haven't folded them correctly, you can just fold them again. Just make sure you keep them straight along your long edges here so that they're nice and straight. That little piece there is your pop-up piece in the center of the card, which is this, where that one sits on. It's got a little 1/2 inch strip that was between 7 7 1/2 there, so that's where that sits. And then the end one, which is that one there, that goes in under as well. So that's that piece. Then all my decoration pieces, we'll go back to this. We've done that. The DSP strips on the front, they are, and I embossed these. These are embossed with the new, and I did keep it out. These are the Basics 3D. There's 3 in a pack. I didn't bring the other 2 out. This is, I like this one the best. It's just like a little weavy sort of pattern. That one, and I've cut these 2 and embossed them with that. I think you can see the pattern on that. Looks quite nice, just subtle. And they measure front. Oh, on the other one I had DSP. This one, because I've got the DSP here, I decided to do the cardstock in the black. So we'll go that way. So that's this one here, 3 3/4 by 1/2 inch, and there's 2 of those. Now the inside strip mats, where the petal pink is, these go top and bottom. We'll go back to this card. So these top and bottom pieces here, I've already glued these together. what was petal pink on here is the black one on here. 5 1/4 by 1 inch wide and 5 1/4 wide, and there's 2 of those. And then the DSP on the top, which I've toned in with the front DSP, they measure 5 1/4 by 3/4, and you'll need 2 of those. Then the frames, just whatever frames you decide to use. I've used different ones here. That's the basic size of the frames if you do them. So otherwise just cut your own into whatever dies you've got. The basic white over this side, which is your writing panel over here, which I have got here, and I've already stamped, and I'm going to decorate this piece this time. That measures, oh no, that's not that piece. Oh, that was the basic white in there, is that little piece there, but I've changed all that. The inside greeting panels, the petal pink, which I've now got black, that was 4 inches by 3 1/4, and then the white piece on top, which is 3 3/4 by 3, and then there was a DSP strip, but I'm not putting that on there. I'm going to put a flower up in this corner, so you'll see how different it will look. I've got all my decoration pieces here, and I did do a photo of how I'm going to put it together, so I can refer to that as I go. So I know one video I did a while ago, I couldn't remember how I was putting it together, so it sort of went different to what I originally did. So now I thought I'll lay it out, take a photo, and then you know how you want to lay it out. Once you pull it apart, you seem to forget. So we're going to do the front first, and I'm going to put it on with my seal. Take that one off. You can use whatever adhesive you like, a seal or your multi-purpose liquid glue. Doesn't matter which one. Go a little bit closer there. Put this one on the front. This is on the soft. I've used soft sea foam, which is one of the greens in the pack, because we don't have the 2 new ones yet. Can't wait to get the new ones so we can use some different colours. Then I've got my DSP to go on that, and I'll just go on here. I meant to mention in the beginning too, today is the 6th of March. We've gone 2 months already. Just watch your DSP that you're going, if it's directional, you're going up the right way. This one is. I like the leaves going upwards. 6th of March, 9 AM. My grandson, my youngest grandson, is 15 today. Happy birthday, Corey. I'll just use my silicone mat in case we end up with glue on this. I'm going to use snail on this one as well. Yes, 15. I don't know where that time went. He's the youngest of 4 of my daughter's children. See them quite often. They live not far away. That's that one. And on the other side, I'm just making sure I've got the pattern the way I want it. I think you could do either way with the pattern on these. And these go edge to edge with the DSP. Just sets it off a little bit. My inside of this will be all flat because I don't want any bulk. These do sit quite flat. Even though there's a mechanism in there, they still come down nice and flat. They're not too bulky. I wouldn't put dimensionals or anything inside. But the front, you can lift it up as much as you like. So what I've done, I've got this beautiful, beautiful little detail piece, and I'm just going to put it on with a few dabs of multi-purpose glue. When you cut this, and I'll show you the die again, there's a couple of different ways you can use it. This die here is really nice as well. When you cut this one, you need to make sure you've got a border all the way around. You can use it as a like in standard one piece, make it into a square. I'm not sure how wide. It's about 3.5 inches. So if you made it about 4 inches square, that covers you as a square. But after you have cut it, it's still joined at these little dots on the outside. So all I did, there was 6 of them all the way around the edge. I just snipped them off because I just want this piece here and not the complete frame. I did do a card the other day and made it a square. So I'm going to put this flat, and I'm just going to put some little dots of glue. I probably should, oh, it's probably plenty in here for what I need today. Just on those little dots is all you need. Move up so you can see. Just all the way around. It's going to have a detailed thing over the top, a flower, so it's not going to lift up anywhere. I'll gently lay that in the center. I did try and round off the little dots where you cut the dots off the outside piece. I always put my silicone mat over the top so I'm not pushing down on, and sometimes you slide your finger and it slides off where you don't want it. So lay your silicone mat over the top and use that as a pressure down on your detailed image. So that's that one. Now I'll just check my photo again, what else I've put in here. So I've got these flowers. Now I want to show you, before we go too much further, how I've done my flowers. I've stamped them just in one basic colour. This one I did in So Saffron. Some of them I've done, you can't tell much difference with the So Saffron as to the, I think that one is Daffodil Delight, that one is too. This one, it's just a shade lighter with the So Saffron, so it doesn't really, you could stamp off and make them lighter. But as you can see, I've gone over in the centres and around the edges with, and I'll show you what I use, and I'll show you how to do it. It just gives you a little bit of shading on your flower, so it's not just all one colour. I use my stamp pad, and I don't like putting my brush in my stamp pad, and I don't like, a lot of people squeeze it into the lid, and I don't like doing that. I like to keep my, I know you can wipe it back out, but I prefer to use a block, and you can just get a little block. We're not going to need much, so a little bit of ink on your block like that. And now I'm using Isocol in one of my aqua painters, and I marked them so that I know it's Isocol and not water in there. There's 3 different size brushes in the set. This is about the medium one, I think. There is a fine one and there's a wide one as well. So I filled that. You don't have to fill it, just a little bit will do. It's a little bit hard to get in because it's a little squeeze hole at the top, but you probably waste a little bit, but I don't worry about that. So that's what you've got. This is really quick drying, and it doesn't sort of spread when you use it with your ink. So all I'm going to do, you don't have to even squeeze that much. Just bring a little bit of, when it comes down, I'll probably pick the one that's not going to, there it is. So just make a little puddle in there, and it doesn't need much because it will pick up some of the colour on here. And all I did was go around like that in the centre, and I just brushed around on the edges as well. You're going to die cut it, but I tried not to go outside the, I think I did it after I die cut them. So just go around, and it's quick drying, so it's not going to sort of, you're going to take half an hour for waiting for it to dry. Plus it's on just standard cardstock, so it doesn't, it's quick, better if it quick dries. It doesn't pool all your paper and pill it, so it's not looking so good. And that just gives you a little bit more colour on your flower. Looks a little bit, you could even put a different colour on there. If you had a pink flower, you could put a darker pink or a red in it as well. I've used tone on tone, same colour, and that's how you do that. I will wipe that off so we don't end up with stain on. It shouldn't stain if you clean it off straight away, not with the alcohol. Just give your brush a little bit of a wipe. You can run these under the tap and clean them off as well. But the ink does come out, and it doesn't come out and show on the next time you use them. So that's that, and I've done all my flowers like that. I'll just wipe that off. I always put, when I'm painting, any sort of paint colour from your ink pad, I always pick up a piece of ink on my block, and I don't go into my pad. So even Wink of Stella, you can pick up a bit of ink on your block and then use your Wink of Stella in it. If you put your Wink of Stella straight into this, I could have put Wink of Stella into this, put the ink on the block and then paint it up with the Wink of Stella, and it would have come up nice and shiny with that. At the end, I might Wink of Stella my flowers, but use it on your block. You're much better off. You don't ruin your ink pads. I'll cut that one out later. We don't need that one for this card today. Right, now this is the inside. I'll leave that for a sec. We'll finish this front. My photo's gone off. I've got 2 flowers on the front, so I'm going to use this one and a small one. Just going to lay them in here, and we can put them up on dimensionals. I was trying not to take too long, but I wanted to explain that painting bit for you. Nice little handy hint. I'll try and be quick for you so you're not as long as last week. I meant to curl these a bit. I think most people would know how to curl their flowers. Just turn your flower upside down and then get your bone folder and pull the edges. Normally I'd do it before I put my dimensionals on, but I nearly forgot. So I'm going to lay that one there, and I'm going to tuck this smaller one in underneath. And I've got some leaves to go on that as well. And I'm putting the greeting in the centre. Couple more dimensionals, but I only need them. I could have done without that one there. I might just pop that under there. And then I'll pop another one, a couple under there. There they are. Might help if you take the back off, Laura. So that's those 2. Then some leaves. They come in 2 different die cuts. One's got 3 leaves on and one's got 2. So I'll just pop this one up in here. Actually, no, I was going to put the 2 one up there and the 3 one over here. I might put them, I can put dimensionals out on the outer edge of those, just a couple of little ones. And I'll pop a little bit of glue on this end just to hold it in there. Slide, and I still forgot to take the backing off. It won't stick unless you take the backing off. Forgot to get my little dish out, which I will do now. I don't like throwing stuff all over the desk. I'll just get one of these out. That's for my rubbish. I'm going to pop that one under there. And this one will go under this side. And then we just need to pop the greeting on, and the front is done. I wanted you to take extra, watch it carefully when I do the inside, because it has to be done in a particular order. Otherwise the slider will not work. I found that out when I tried. I thought, oh, I know a quicker way of doing it. I'll do it this way. And went ahead, but had to pull it apart. Lucky I didn't stick it too hard. So that one will go under there. And then my Just For You, I'll just put that down flat. I usually only do 1 layer of dimensionals. I don't want it too thick. My tweezers. Just going to put that up in there. I've got some, I might put it in the middle of the flower. Try and get it reasonably straight. I love this set of greetings because it's got dies that cut them out snug fit onto them. Really nice. So that's the front finished. Now we'll go to the inside. Now there's the order that I need to show you. This piece here will go on like so, but you don't stick it yet. Actually, we'll put all the, you need tear and tape for this, and I'll show you where all the tear and tape's going to go. So with these folded under and sitting back up like an arched sitting, and your tear and tape, and I do recommend tear and tape, or maybe the Seal Plus. You want something strong because this mechanism gets a bit of a workout, opening and shutting the card. So fairly close to those score lines, you're going to put a strip of tear and tape. Burnish those. So that's those two. Now this one here, this one goes, I've got to make sure I got it right, that way, that way, that way. I'll just open this one as a reference. So we've got the longer tab, the wider tab on this end, and all the tear and tape is going to go on the one side. So we want 2 strips, I'll just turn it that way for a sec, 2 strips on this wider one down this end. After you've done a couple of these, it sort of gets easier remembering where to put things and where each bit goes. Then we've got one piece in the center of this one, and that's the little sit-up piece on the top. And we've got another piece over this end on the little half-inch tab down that end. I have got pictures, and I'll show you my pictures on my PDF, wherever I put it. I've got pictures on here of where to put your, so it's going to go up this way, that way, that way, that way. Yes, now have I done it right? I want that up like that. Oh, this one goes, I don't think, oh yeah, this way, this way, this way, and that way. Yes, that's correct. Oh, these might be wrong. I think I've got those on the wrong side. That's got to go out flat. Yes, beg your pardon. I'm going to leave those tabs on there because they're not going to be seen. I don't think they will be seen. I'm going to put 2 over here. I'll just double check it when I'm finished. So with it, you're better off, don't do what I just did. Might be able to get those up. So with it sitting like this and then folded with your shorter, you fold that in half, pretty much in half, except for this extra tab. Then these, it'll go on the top of this one, the top of this one, and that way. So fold it in half first, and then it'll go like that. I'm pretty sure that's right. So when I fold that, why do I double check that this is going to be right? That's going to sit like that. And that's going to close on that. Yeah, you won't see that because it's going to be under there. I might just see if I can take these back ones off. Usually I use my heat gun. I'm getting in a bit of a pickle here. I'm just going to try and gently lift these off the back. I think they'll come up. Won't matter if I tear it a little bit. You won't see that underneath. So don't put them where I first told you. I'm just removing that side one because I could leave the backing on, but I think you will see it underneath, whereas this way you won't. Just going to take that up a little bit. Don't mind the mess that I've got. Normally I use my heat gun and that will pull that straight up, but I don't want to start the heat gun up in the middle of this. So that's not too bad, you won't see under there. So I'll just show you that again, where you put your tear and tape, so you're not confused from my first bit. So fold it in half this way, so lay it flat there. Fold it in half, except for that end tab, it will be in half. So you've got one on this, that will be the sit-up piece, and one on here. So then put it, it will sit, you're going to sit along that score line, but not on the score line. Now you're just going to hold it there for time being. Actually, I'll rub my buddy. When you've got a bit of sticky glue where you don't want it, which I don't want that little bit of sticky underneath here, just rub your buddy over it. It will take off any stick that's on there, and it'll make it nice, and just makes it powdery and you can't see the all fixed. Now it won't stick where it shouldn't stick. So this one here is going to sit like this, with that opened out and that halfway between there and there. Then you need your other overlay piece, and you're not going to stick this down. You're going to put this on, you're just going to hold it on here. This piece will come over and it's going to stick. So this little flap here, I hope I'm explaining this properly. This little flap here needs to be folded under, and it's going to go on the edge of that, like that, just along the edge. With that folded, keep that flat, which is the best idea, and that will lay down that edge of the overlay piece, if that makes sense. So that's lined up. These bits they'll go under eventually, but we're not sticking them yet. The first piece we need to stick is this piece here in the center. So we're going to hold that there. Holding that there, you sort of need, so once you've got all your pieces of tear and tape on, it's easy enough to, and it's centered both ways. This way, don't keep bumping it, and make sure that's flat. The mechanism won't work if it's sitting up. So what we'll do, we'll take this is the piece that must go down first. So we'll take that off, flip that under, holding that overlay piece where you want it, and that where you want it. This is just tricky, you need about 3 hands. So making sure that doesn't go where you shouldn't. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm lining that edge up with that overlay piece, making sure it stays nice and flat. I'll just start that again. You don't want to stick the others down first because it will not sit correctly. You must do this one first, and it just takes a little bit of manipulation. That's better, that's about right there, and push that down. Then you can do this top and bottom piece on the, just what I needed to drop my pick tool, and take those under flaps backing off, and then you're just going to flip that under, making sure it's lined up with the top, keeping that flat, and lined up with the bottom. That's the only hard part of doing all of that. Then this side piece here, we take those 2 bits off. Just remember where we put this tape and not where I put it. And then you're just going to fold your card flat shut, and it'll pick up that tab on that side. And when you open it, hopefully it should work just like that. That always comes up. It doesn't sit when you first open it, but if you do it a few times, it works just like so. Then all we have to do is finish decorating. Now these bits that go on the bottom, you don't want to push on this center mechanism. So what we will do, we will put a couple of strips of tear and tape just on the ends of those. One on that end. And one on this end. And the other piece as well. You only want it on the ends because you want it to be loose in the center so it doesn't stop the mechanism from working. You can use whatever DSP you like, whatever greetings you like. Flowers, butterflies. My favourite is butterflies. I'll have to do one with some butterflies. And they will go on there. Now we're on track. I didn't push that down. Always try and push my tear and tape down with my bone folder because it just makes it stick without lifting the tape as well as the backing. So these will just go, and I'm going to put it level, pretty much level with the bottom, and just inside that, oh no, actually it's got a little 1/8 of an inch on either side. And I'm going to put it up just a fraction off the bottom so it's not hanging out over the edge, and just stick that down. And the same with the top one. If you're not sure on that, where you're putting that tear and tape in the beginning, where I mucked it up a bit, just go back and watch the second part of the video. So that's going along. Oops, not level with that. In 1/8 of an inch. It's not the length. You can make it the length of that if you wish, the full length, but I've gone in a little bit. That just covers up some of your mechanism. Then we've got this piece on the top, which I shall get the rest of my decoration. So I've got that as my back piece, and then this one, we'll just stick those two together. And I've got some more flowers to go on the top. I didn't put a greeting inside this one. These are out of that Something Fancy stamp set and dies, and a lovely arrangement of dies in there to make some nice frames. Then I'll go back to my photo. I've got one flower on this, just one big one, which is this one here. I'm not going to curl it. I'm just going to sit it like that. And I've got some more leaves to go on it. That one there and that one over there. I'll just stick them to the back of the flower. Sometimes if I've got a big arrangement of flowers to go together, I cut out whatever size circle you need, just with my circle punch, any circle punch, maybe a 2-inch one, and I arrange all of my flowers on that, so it gives you some sort of backing and arrangement instead of just trying to tuck them underneath all the time and they're not going to stay where you put them. So I make my arrangement on a circle of just plain white cardstock, or colour, whatever colours your backing colour, and just arrange them on that. So that's going on there. I'm just going to lay that flat and just go in the centre here. It's just got a little bit of black popping through, showing, which is all we need. And then that was all on that. I've got some embellishments to put on it as well. They're nice tiny ones. You're just going to take the backing off this strip here, your little table selection, and I'm just going to eyeball that so it's in the center on there, and give it a press down in the middle. So that's sitting up there. If you do a bigger arrangement, just make sure when you close your card that the edges of your whatever you've got in there are not sticking out past the perimeter of the card. But that one's fine. I'll put a couple of little embellishments on the top of that. Then over this side, I've got my black mat with my white greeting panel where you can do your little bit of writing. I don't ever do much writing on a card, so the smaller the better for me, as long as it's enough to say a few good wishes. So that one, and I'm keeping this one flat as well. I've got this little flower to go, and I cut these tiny leaves because this is the smaller flower. Just going to put these little tiny ones at the back. Put a little piece on there. I should have my silicone mat again, but sometimes when I'm in a hurry I don't bother getting it out. This just keeps in the theme of it all with the flowers. Stick a couple of those on there. And then that's just going to go into the corner. That little dotty spray type thing, that's in the stamp set as well. A nice little detail. I like using those sorts of ones as a background. Takes a little bit of the plainness off. I'll put this one up here. And I'll keep that flat as well. Then we'll just adhere that inside that front, on the back of the front panel. Almost done. So I've just centered that pretty much from here to there and top and bottom. So it looks pretty symmetrical in the middle. And I've used all my bits, so I must be right. And that's the inside. That's the front. Something a bit different. Then I've just got a couple of embellishments. I'm going to try, and I'm not overly fussed on these, but they are very, very pretty. But they've got no adhesive back, but I think because they're so tiny. They come with this sweet loose frosted dots, they're called. And they're really, really pretty. I'm going to use some of the green ones, or the darker green. I think there's a darker green in there. I'll need my tweezers. But you do need to put some, I'm going to use the adhesive, the multi-purpose glue on the back. I'm going to use these darker, bigger green ones so you can see them. I think I've used quite a few already. I've got 1, 2, and 1 or 2 on the front. So you can see the back side's nice and shiny, but the top side is dull. So all I'm going to do is put a little spot of glue on the back of that with my multi-purpose glue. Pick them up with my tweezers. This is the darker green, which is the, as you can see, they're not easy to get on. I'll put a little bit more glue on that. There's no easy way of getting them on. Needs a fair blob of glue on the back. They do stick well once you get the glue on them, probably as good as your adhesive back embellishments. I'll just put one up here. Actually, I might do some little ones around the edges. I hadn't planned on what I was doing with these. And don't drop them on the thing. They'll stick nicely once the glue sets. I won't put one there because it's covered by, I might put 2 more around the edge just to give it 3 on the front. I do like to do odd numbers. So I'll put one over here. And because my fingers are a bit sticky, they're sticking to my fingers. And we'll get another one. I'll have to start and use some of the pink and yellow. I think I've used a few of the green. And that's about it. We'll put this one up here. And that is it. Love, love, love those. And I hope you enjoyed that today. I'll just put all my lids back on. That's our greeting card for today. And you'll see that on my, the PDF for this will be on my tips and tutorials page as soon as the video's gone up. I hope you enjoyed that. I shall catch you all again next week. Have a lovely week and bye for now.